China has just taken a bold step into the future, and it involves turning living bees into remote-controlled flying machines. The science is real, the stakes are high, and the consequences potentially world-changing. A team of scientists at the Beijing Institute of Technology has done the unimaginable. They've created the world's lightest insect brain controller, a device so small it weighs just 74 milligrams. That's lighter than a sack of nectar a bee typically carries. And it doesn't just attach to the bee. It plugs directly into its brain, hijacking its neural signals to control flight, essentially turning the bee into a cyborg. They can fly up to 5 kilometers or 3 miles with no rest. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into China's mind-controlled bees, an astonishing leap in biotechnology and one that's raising eyebrows in military, ethical, and scientific communities around the globe. Stick around because in just a few minutes, we're going to share something from this study that's being compared to the zombie fungus from The Last of Us. You don't want to miss that. Let's get into it. The researchers behind this jaw-dropping project are led by Professor Zhao Jieliang. Their innovation builds on the natural engineering of bees, insects that can carry loads nearly their own body weight, navigate complex environments, and camouflage effortlessly in plain sight. The bee is nature's drone. China is simply upgrading the software. The new controller is mounted onto the bee's back. It's lightweight, flexible, and so precisely engineered it moves with the bee's wings. Then come the shocking details. 3 microscopic needles pierce the bee's brain. These needles are connected to a circuit that sends finely tuned electrical impulses into the insect's neural tissue. The result? Remote-controlled flight. In testing, bees obeyed commands to fly in specific directions 90% of the time. That means 9 out of 10 bees obeyed the commands of the machine. That level of precision is not just impressive, it's unprecedented. Previous attempts at cyborg insects involved bulkier devices. The lightest before this came from a lab in Singapore and was still 3 times heavier than the Chinese version. It worked on beetles and roaches, but came with major flaws. The extra weight tired the insects quickly, limiting their operational range. China's breakthrough? Lightweight, flexible circuits printed on a polymer film so thin it mimics insect wings, and it's capable of housing microchips. That changes the game. Now these bees can fly longer, maneuver with more agility, and potentially carry tiny onboard systems that could transmit data, scout environments, or even perform search and rescue. This isn't just about technology, it's about strategy. According to Zhao's team, these mind-controlled bees could one day be deployed in disaster zones to locate survivors trapped in rubble. In dense urban landscapes where larger drones can't operate, these biohybrids can squeeze through cracks, scout collapsed buildings, and return with critical intel. That's the official line. But there's a darker edge here. The same features that make these cyborg bees perfect for rescue missions also make them ideal for covert surveillance and espionage. In their research paper, published in the Chinese Journal of Mechanical Engineering, the scientists go on record stating the potential military use cases: urban combat, counterterrorism, narcotics interdiction, and of course, covert reconnaissance. And it gets even wilder. Let's talk about Cordyceps. If you're a fan of The Last of Us, you'll recognize that name. Cordyceps is the real-world fungus that invades insects' bodies, hijacks their minds, and effectively turns them into zombie drones to spread its spores. Nature's horror story. Well, the team at the Beijing Institute of Technology seems to have recreated that, with electronics. They're not using biology to zombify bees, but the concept is eerily similar. Electronic pulses control the insect's behavior. Their free will is overridden. These aren't drones disguised as bees. These are actual bees being remotely piloted through technological parasitism. Let that sink in. This tech blurs the line between organism and machine, between nature and artificial control, and the implications go far beyond science fiction. Make sure to stick around, because we're about to reveal one part of the research that hints at a future nobody's talking about, one where even privacy from nature itself is no longer guaranteed. Now, there are limits to this new system. Bees currently require a tethered power supply, a wire that connects them to an external energy source. It's a major obstacle for field deployment. And roaches, which the team also tested, tend to fatigue quickly after receiving 10 electrical pulses. Battery-powered systems are being developed but add too much weight for now. Still, these are solvable problems, and if history tells us anything, it's that engineering always finds a way to scale. And now, as promised, here's the part of the story that's got experts comparing this to something straight out of dystopian fiction. Zhao's team described the way these bees operate as inheriting the mobility, camouflage, and adaptability of their biological hosts. In their words, insect-based robots outperform synthetic alternatives in stealth and endurance. That's not just theory. That's a direct argument for replacing traditional surveillance tools with cyborg insects. Think about what that means. In a future surveillance state, you might not need cameras on every corner. You might only need a few well-placed bees. They could fly through vents, perch unnoticed in meetings, or follow individuals discreetly. Some of them might even be programmed with facial recognition software, and you'd never know they were there. This is not a warning. This is not speculation. This is happening right now in cutting-edge labs, and China is leading the charge. So the question isn't whether cyborg insects will exist. They already do. The real question is how they'll be used, and who will control them. If you're finding this as fascinating and, frankly, unsettling as we are, make sure to hit the like button and share this video with someone who needs to see what's coming. It helps more than you know and keeps independent analysis like this alive. Before we wrap up, let's consider one final chilling possibility. Right now, bees are being developed for search and surveillance. But the next step is swarm behavior. Imagine hundreds or even thousands of these remote-controlled insects acting in coordination, not just flying, but navigating in formations, responding to real-time changes, and executing missions with military precision. Swarm AI is already being tested with drones, but combining that intelligence with the camouflage of biological insects could make these swarms nearly impossible to detect, let alone stop. And if they're used not just for observation, but for interference, delivering micro-payloads, sabotaging equipment, or worse, then we're not just looking at a surveillance evolution. We're looking at a revolution in how power is exercised in the physical world. What do you think? Is this an opportunity for good, like rescuing earthquake victims with Bee Scouts? Or are we witnessing the birth of the most invasive surveillance tool humanity has ever seen? I think if this technology remains in the right hands, this can be life-saving. What do you think about this? I'm eager to know, so please, drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay ahead of the curve, if you want the truth the mainstream won't touch, then smash that subscribe button now. Join us for more deep dives into the weird, the wild, and the future. Thanks for watching, and remember, when it comes to the future, it's always stranger than it seems.